Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Perri, and I'm really looking forward to hearing and learning from all of the great panelists in this session. And I recognize that we are in unprecedented times, so I thank you all in advance for attending this session and for your participation. Before I get started, I just wanted to note that I have no conflicts of interest to declare. Before I get started, I would also like to complete a land acknowledgement. As we can see here on the slide, I wish to acknowledge the land on which not only the University of Toronto operates, but also the land in which I live and use readily. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and I am grateful to have the opportunity to work and learn on this land. On behalf of the team, I'm going to be presenting findings from a qualitative study that was conducted to explore the experiences of individuals who engaged with formal and informal spotting in the provinces of Ontario and Nova Scotia, Canada. Our aim with the study was to define what spotting is, to develop a greater understanding of how spotting services operate in the Canadian context, to describe strengths, limitations, and considerations from the perspectives of those who provide and utilize spotting services, to determine the role of spotting in HIV prevention and care among people who use drugs, and to offer practical insights into the potential of spotting for future program development and implementation. This presentation will speak to experiences of informal spotting only. So what is spotting? Spotting is a community-driven response to the current overdose epidemic and represents a remote method for supervising drug consumption. This diagram provides a simplified overview of the spotting process. In informal spotting, individuals, hereafter considered spottees, first begin by reaching out to peers, family members, or friends, hereafter considered spotters, through a virtual method, which can include a phone call, a social media app message, or a video call. In formal spotting, spottees reach out to an established service, such as the National Overdose Prevention Line. When initiating the call, spottees disclose pertinent information such as their location and the substances being used. This is also the period where spottees discuss their overdose response plan with spotters, including who they would like to call if an emergency situation were to occur. And it also represents a period of time where spotters can provide pertinent information such as consumption message, which can reduce occurrence of HIV or hepatitis C. The third step in the spotting process surrounds the spottee actually consuming substances while they are connected to the spotter. The spotter stays on the call, usually speaking with the spottee, ensuring that they are safe during use, and will continue to speak with them for around 15 minutes post-use to ensure safety. Here we have integrated a simulation of a video of what a spotting call may look like. Again, this is only a simulation and not a real overdose.
Good. Thank you for answering. I was wondering if you could just spot me because I don't have anybody at home right now.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so I've already prepped my dose and stuff. I'm at home, so you're gonna call 905 451
451
3300.
3300.
Yeah, and so that's our local 911 anyways. And my address is 507 Smith
507 Smith
Drive.
Need to do that for you. Is this new shit? Is there any problems with this? Do you have any worries that I should be aware of?
No, I just want to be safe, make sure that everything's okay. So yeah, I'm going to be doing just a small tester. It's, I don't know, maybe a half a point of down.
Have you had this stuff before?
I have, but my dealer just re-upped. So
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I would be okay.
Do you want me to call someone? Is there anybody nearby, or do you want me to call 911 or the emergency number you gave me? What's your preference?
Just call the emergency number, but if something happens, can you just let my partner know so they can meet me in hospital?
Okay, do you have a number you can share with me?
It's the number that I text you. I texted it to your phone earlier.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so I just did my shot.
How do you feel?
It's pretty strong, so I might lean back and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna lean back.
You're in a place that's okay. You're not gonna fall over onto something. You're in your bed.
Yeah, I'm on the bed.
Okay. How you feeling, Nat? Nat, I need you to respond to me or I'm gonna call 911. Okay. Hello, yes, I need an ambulance, please.
Data were collected through 30 semi-structured interviews, which lasted between 30 and 90 minutes with participants from Ontario and Nova Scotia. Participants were recruited through the use of personal networks of research assistants with lived experience and other team members. Participants included 20 people who used drugs who provided or used informal spotting, and 10 people who provided or used formal spotting. Our team completed an intensive data analysis process grounded in thematic analysis. The average age of participants was 37 years old, 40% self-identified as cis male, 53% identified as cis female, and 7% identified as other with respect to gender identity. The majority of the sample came from the Greater Toronto Area, and the remainder came from Hamilton, Halifax, and Cape Breton, or somewhere else in Ontario. When asked about their racial background, 30% identified as Indigenous, 10% identified as African, Black, or Caribbean, and 90% identified as Caucasian. All names attributed to the following quotes are pseudonyms. Most participants explained that spotting improves safety, privacy, COVID-19 prevention, and accessibility to essential overdose and HIV prevention. Beyond these benefits, participants also explained that spotting created a stigma-free environment. It facilitated connection to individuals within their community and thereby helped to improve mental health, access to harm reduction resources and supplies, such as clean injection equipment. Many spotters, like Maria, explained that engaging in spotting services improved feelings of accomplishment as they were helping people within their community. Both spotters and spottees expressed that they feared that overdose response help may not arrive in time. This was particularly relevant for those who resided in rural or remote regions. Patricia, a spotter, explained that this was a source of consistent anxiety for them. Similar to this were concerns surrounding repercussions associated with overdose responses which involved the police. Many explained that fear of criminalization minimized their willingness to have emergency services called if there was an overdose event. The majority of participants explained that the Good Samaritan law was ineffective at protecting individuals in overdose-like situations. This can be seen in Eric's explanation of his concerns with spotting. There were three main sets of recommendations made to improve spotting services. Most recommended the development of guidelines for spotting. These guidelines were described as how-to guides with recommendations on what things to consider when spotting or what questions should be asked when spotting. For example, who do you want called, or if you put your dogs away. Many also recommended increasing awareness of spotting services within the community. Many explained that a large portion of the community are unaware of spotting services and continue to use alone, increasing risk of overdose. The final recommendation included increasing supports available for spotters, such as funding or trauma-informed services, as they were described to be undersupported and overworked. As described in this presentation, spotting represents a novel addition to, but not replacement for, existing harm reduction services. Additional supports such as creating guidelines and adapting the Good Samaritan law are needed to optimize spotting practices. Although not a primary focus among our participants, there is a potential for integration of HIV prevention education within spotting services. Future research is needed to explore different spotting delivery models and sustainability considerations. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge our participants for sharing their opinions with us and the larger team. This project was supported by a grant from the University of Toronto. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact either myself or Natalie at these two emails. Thank you.